Morning all. So let me try to set this thing up here for Facebook. I don't know why this is giving me stress this morning. Okay, what's going on here? Morning YouTube folks, just instead of trying to sort this thing out here at Facebook, I don't know what is going on. Let's try this. Okay. Right, let's try this again. Right, there we go. Morning, folks. Morning. Let's see who we have here. Morning, Roxanne. Early today. Tuesday greetings to you as well. Thank you for my brooms as always. Denise Bramble, morning to you. That's Roxanne, missed you guys as well. But it couldn't be helped. Neil Francois, morning sir, always present. Alberta Sampat, morning Alberta Aurea Gani. Morning Annette Beard, morning Annette. Lisa Atwater, morning to you Lisa. Mul Durant, morning. What else is it? Annette Neptune, morning to you. Leonard Harris, morning Leonard. Arlene Lewis, morning. Denise says, I like you. I was like fish out of the water. Oh gosh. J Dimple 66, morning. Cyril Mayes, morning to you, sir. Pauline Buckmeyer, Keelan Jackson, morning. Let me see here. It seems Denise watched the showdown yesterday between Ralph and Darian. Gabriel Phillip, Althea, Ann Niles, Pamela O'Connor, morning to all of you guys. Ruth Trude, Claire Carrington, Leon Graves, morning, sir. Kenneth Gabriel, John Keto, morning to all of you. Listra Sidney, Kay Borrell. Yes, Roxanne, I have an early morning meeting this morning, but I said, you know what, I can't miss another Tuesday, and then Tuesday morning I have another early one. So I said, nah, if I skip Tuesday and Thursday this week and wait till Sunday, and no Roxanne, and Roxanne is the first one looking to kill me. So I had to fix that. Earl Turpin, morning, sir. Sedena Kwashi, Wazid, Donna Walcott, morning to all of you. Jamal White Isaac, morning, Jamal. Linda Supreme, all the way from Queens, New York, morning. Sandra Rogers. Leon is saying they have lovely weather up there in Toko. Yes, very nice. Marge France, Joy George, morning, Joy. Marlon McAllister, Anna Assistant, morning, Anna. Bless One, 29, Super C, is it? Janet, and Ansel St. Hilaire, morning, guys. Christopher Coffey, morning to you. What do you have on Facebook? Let me see. Diane Charles, morning, Diane. Marva James, Claire Irish, morning, guys. Kevin Springer, morning to you. Phyllis Antoine. Patsy Edwards, Jennifer Dorset, Annette McConney, morning, folks. Marilyn Wanza Cloud, morning to you. Judy Bowen, Marva James, John Edwards, Rudolph Barnett. Good morning to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Pleasantville, Nigel O'Connor. First Lady Marcia Keegan. Emmeline Harvey, morning, Emmeline. Denise Reed, Alison Boyce, Elizabeth Allen, Joan Lawrence, Bernadette Beryl Yates, morning. Ruth Fronton, Jennifer Ferron, morning, guys. Caroline Augustus, morning to you. Denise Cummings. I was just about to ask, where is Carol Myers? Morning, Carol. Carol had to jump out the country. Well, it's supposed to be next week to run to Panama for a few days. And then after that, supposed to be, I don't think I'm going to Florida for Thanksgiving this year. Yeah. Do you see how that goes? Seychelle, Hadara Lambert, Denise Cummings, Nadia Lewis Dixon, Gemma Alexander, morning to all of you guys. Steve Lewis, Betty Lynch, morning Betty, Patsy Edwards. Right, so let me get into it, folks. Natalie F, Rena Jennings, morning guys, Patty Kutu, Patricia McKenzie, Angela Carty, Evelyn Clark. So many things that have happened over the last couple of days. I mean, since I did my last live. Too many to talk about this morning, of course, because of time constraints. Kelvin Thompson says, morning all the way from Cayman Islands. Morning, Kelvin, welcome. Supposed to be doing some travel to Cayman Islands as well. Carol says you're traveling more than Fali. Yeah, well, when you wear too many hats, Carol, that is what happens. You have to be traveling here, there, and everywhere. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Claudius Alexander says library on the inside. So what to touch on? What to start with, boy? Wow. So for those of us who would have listened yesterday to Darian and Citizen Darian, as has become the norm, Darian is often want to deal with Ralph Maraj's Sunday articles, which more often than not is critical of the government, critical of the Prime Minister. And while Mr. Maraj is inclined to criticize, he cannot offer, or hardly ever offers, any solutions, suggestions as to how the government could fix what he thinks are ills facing the society. And like so many others who are opposed to the government, the PNM, they continue to echo this nonsensical narrative about the economy in a mess and the economy crashing. Yet still every day when I go on social media, I keep seeing this company, that company posting record profits, increases in profits from the year before to the tune of millions and in some cases hundreds of millions of dollars. Republic Bank last year declared a profit after before tax of 1.74 billion. This year it's gone up to $2 billion. And Samaka as well, we're looking at another couple $100 million. And at several other companies. And I expect that the other banks will follow suit. Right? And I am asking the question, in an economy that is crashed, an economy that is in free fall, an economy that is on the brink, how is it that these business entities are recording these types of profits? Is it that Trinidad and Tobago's population increased twofold or threefold? That is why? Or is it the same people, the same population, the same 1-point-something million people who spending money? There was an article that appeared in the newspaper, I think, over the weekend, talking about this country's spend on new vehicles. You see the kind of money that we're spending on new vehicles. Trinidad and Tobago has earned the title of Vessel Nation. You cannot go on the road without seeing 10, 15, 20 vessels. Different models, but vessel all over the place. That's the new hot car in the city. Everybody wants to own a vessel now. How is that being paid for? When I go on social media and look at the price, the cheapest you might be able to get one of these vessels for is between $200 and probably about $205,000 to $210,000, and then it goes up depending on the model and specifications that you want. How are these people paying for that if they're eating grass and they're suffering? Think hard. People can't afford to pay for the basics. Food prices going up, electricity rates going up, water rates going up. Where? Which part? When did that happen? When did that happen? We continue to pay the lowest rates for electricity, lowest rates for water. And these wretches continue to make the claim of people suffering and giving excuses. The person says, yeah, boy, thing real hard. We're struggling. So there isn't struggle elsewhere too. And what's even worse, the people who talk and not talk and who lead in the charge, they're definitely not struggling. But they have found something that resonates with the population. Right? Well, with a portion of the population who want to hear that, who looking for excuses for the laziness, some of them. So this thing about it ain't no jobs and they can't find no jobs. I came across a profile on Facebook called, I can't remember the name of it. Let me see if I find it here. Give me 1 second. I should have posted it on the page, but I know I saved it. That I know. Let me give you all an example. I'm going to find this thing here. Right, this is another one of the things that I say. If Unilever's profits rise by 46%, but the economy in a mess. The economy suffering. Thing bad. Where is it? Where did I save this? I know I saved it. Right. Shortlist HR. This is last week. Tuesday's roundup. New roles at Prestige Holdings, Ansa Motors, Blue Waters, GMMB, and more. This was November the 12th. Right. Let me just give you all an idea as to some of the jobs that are available. And they're giving you the jobs that are available and also the salaries if you're interested. Where is it? It's not right. I don't want that. Come on, what is this? They're doing mad over that. Right, that's not. Salary transparent jobs. I'm just giving you all a little tease. Accounts executive via Eve Anderson, which is a recruitment agency, Shogunas, 10,000 to 20,000 a month. Quality assurance officer, again, via Eve Anderson, Tobago, 12,000 a month. Laboratory technician at the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards. Salary, 6,890 to 9,283 a month. Manager via Regency Recruitment, Port of Spain, salary, 7,000 a month. Process safety and loss prevention engineer via NES, Fulcroft and Vancouver, salary, $20,000 to $30,000 a month. System administrator via Regency Recruitment, Tunapuna, $13,500. B2B sales executive, business to business, Shagwana, salary, $9,500 a month. Mortgage officer, collections via Eastman and Associates, $10,000 to $20,000 a month. This is in Port of Spain. Senior associate assurance, so this is with an audit firm via Eve Anderson, $15,000 to $30,000 a month. Giving you the salaries here, right? But they are no jobs. People leaving the university and whatnot, and they have the degree and they can't find jobs. We're going again. Data processor via Regency Recruitment, $6,500 per month. Human resources officer, Cuba, salary, $10,000 a month. Accounts coordinator, Caribbean resourcing, $12,000 to $14,600 a month. Maintenance planner via Caribbean resourcing, Makoya, salary, $13,000 to $15,000 a month. Accounting officer again, Chagonas, salary, $8,100 a month. Treasury operations officer, Port of Spain, salary, $8,000 to $9,000 a month. Mechanical engineer, project manager, San Juan, $9,300 a month. Pilot in command at Kingfisher Air Services, Port of Spain, salary, $40,000 to $50,000 a month. Aircraft maintenance technician, Kingfisher Air Services, salary, $30,000 to $40,000 a month. Culture manager via Eve Anderson in Arima, $10,000 to $15,000 a month. General manager via Incredible People, I guess that's the name of our recruitment agency, salary, $47,000 to $50,000 a month. E&I technician 3, Cuba, salary, $15,000 to $16,500 a month. Electrical engineer, Cuba, salary, $19,000 to $21,000 a month. Mechanical technician 2 and 3, Cuba, $13,000 to $14,500 a month. Production engineer, Cuba, salary, $19,000 to $21,000 a month. When again, process engineer, salary, $23,000 to $25,000 a month. And then they have a whole list. Business banking officer, Scotiabank, accounts assistant, wealth advisor at Maritime, assistant accountant, senior associate inventory accountant at Blue Stream Eco, business operations administrator at KPMG Port of Spain, which is another accounting firm, team lead, accounts payable, Blue Stream Eco Port of Spain, country reconciliation support officer, GMMB Bank, Chaguanas, accountant at Ansa Macal, accounts officer at Login Tech Port of Spain, accountant at Massey Remittance, accountant at WGM Group, payroll administrator at KPMG, accountant at Dachin Group of Enterprise Companies, income auditor at Hilton, underwriter 2 at Guardian Group, Mercury Business Advisor Associate at Ernst & Young, assistant accountant at EMA, factory controller at Nestle, junior accounts personnel at Georgia Bood & Sons, assurance associate at Fabio, accounts receivable clerk at Lifetime Solutions. I go in, payroll administrator at Comrade, audit senior manager at Deloitte, which is another one of the big audit firms. Audit manager at Deloitte, manager investments at the TTT IPA, manager finance and accounting TTT IPA, financial analyst at GCG, audit assistant at TTCAA, inventory auditor at Bridens, finance officer at GCG, accounts receivable team lead at Bridens, manager accounting operations at Massey, senior account supervisor at Toyota, Account supervisor, Toyota. Senior associate assurance, Eve Anderson. Manager assurance, Eve Anderson. Audit senior at Deloitte. Team lead collections experience at Bluestream Eco. Commercial credit underwriter. Internal auditor, assistant accountant at EID Cot. Financial accountant at FT Fafa. Accounts payable at FT Fafa. Finance administrator, KPMG. Country economist at CAF. Assistant accountant at Answer Bank in Chaguanas. Senior analyst at the Trinidad and Tobago IFC. And the list keeps going on and on and on. I could probably spend the next 2 hours here just reading, and I scroll in. I go in again. But they have no jobs. People coming out of school and they suffering, they have degrees and they can't get no job. But all these jobs right here. And they keep updating this list on an almost daily basis. And you hear some of the companies, big companies, all these vacancies, but they have no job. And they have no job in the country. And the economy in a mess. All your nonsense. They're not looking. And even if they see it, they bypass it straight because no, remember that's the narrative we push in. It have no jobs in the country. Right? People sit on home, they have the degrees and this, that, the other, and the next, and they're working in jobs for which they are underqualified. And people looking for a job and look, miss me with that nonsense. Eh? But it's convenient for them to push that dotish talk. Right? So, tell you this. Anyway, so Mr. Maraj yesterday, so I was waiting with bated breath to hear him itemize, as Darian asked him, just tell me 3 now. 3 areas, if you were the Prime Minister or the Minister of Finance, 3 areas, Ralph, that you would have diversified the economy in over the last 10 years, such that the problem, we would have not had a Forex problem right now, no Forex crisis, as he calls it, right? Tell us how you would have managed the economy. And yet, and unfortunately, he refused to answer the question because I guess nothing came to mind. Because you see, if he mentioned or suggested 3 areas, he would need to go into detail about how exactly that would bring in foreign exchange. And Darian boxed him in a corner because not only did he ask him to name the 3 areas, he told him, tell us the gestation period. So if you say tourism, they should have diversified in tourism. Tell us how long did you anticipate it would take for tourism to be able to generate significant foreign exchange that at least, if not rival, come close to the energy sector. If you tell us agriculture, tell us the gestation period. How long would it take to diversify the agriculture sector to be able to, if not rival, the energy sector to come close? He couldn't answer that question because he has never given that any serious thought or research. But he will come every Sunday and write a pack of nonsense. And he knows that he has an audience that loves to read that and would not hold him to book and ask him to give details. So Darian is like, just give me 3. Oh no, I will not answer that. You're trying to set me up and trying to trap me. And no trap. If you wrote an article and you're saying that the government has been deficient with respect to diversification and the overall management of the economy, well then tell us what you would have done. Since you have all the answers, and as Darian said, you're always saying that you're brighter than the people who are sitting in the parliament, well then you tell us what is the solution. Couldn't answer. But you see, I see a lot of Mr. Maraj's articles. Most times with the intent of treating with it, and then I don't get the time too. So fortunately, I had a few saved. One of which was entitled Irfan Grade A, Rowley Grade F, which was an article he wrote back in August, chastising Dr. Rowley's management of Trinidad and Tobago economy, but praising Irfan Ali for his management of that of Ghana's. And so I was able to identify the areas in which Mr. Maraj claims the country could have diversified and the hypocrisy in what he writes. What I found interesting, because as I was scrolling through and looking for that article, I came upon another article that he would have written on the 29th of September, the day before the budget, entitled Budget Hollowness or Emptiness Tomorrow. And he was talking about what he expected the minister to bring with respect to the budget and so on. And a lot of what he wrote in that article also found itself in the article that he wrote on Sunday. Talk about intellectual laziness. This man lifting paragraphs. Yes, it's his work, it's his writing. But give us some originality now. When you were just, because you're too damn lazy to write something new and fresh and novel. You sit down home and you know your article is due whatever day, you go and you pull this article from a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, and figure people will forget that what you wrote And so you lift paragraphs, whole paragraphs, word for word, and implant it, cut and paste in this particular article. And that is what you offer people to read, having paid $5 to the Express newspaper. Nothing new and original, but I guess you probably figure everybody only buys this, right? Yeah, you probably figure most of the people who read this article spend the $5. So when they finish reading newspapers, it ends up in the bin so that they can't go back and look. But somebody needs to let Ralph know about technology. A lot of the times his articles come up on social media, on Facebook. So you could save it, as I did, and go back. So whereas this would eventually end up in the bin, when you save it there for perpetuity. As I was able to go back and read some of what it is that he mentioned and present it to him, since he seemed to have some sort of issue yesterday, we're even speaking to defend your position. No wonder he writes for the Express newspaper, right? Can't defend the position. And when it is that you're backed in a corner, everybody, you want to attack everybody and telling Darian he needs to go and take courses to learn how to read and whatnot, and as if he's so bright. He's a big word man. You're the big word man, and you can't find fresh new big words to put in an article that you have to be cutting and pasting, just like them two crooked lawyers who should be before the court. But 10 years now, the police investigating and still investigating and no outcome. Prison gate. Yeah, that's why he's supporting that other side. Just like Kamala Prasad Bissessa, when it is that she sent congratulations to, I can't remember if it was, who was it by? Who was it? And she plagiarized the other day and lifted from, was it Michelle Obama's somebody? Can't remember who it was. But that is what is typical of them. So I had to put in my 2 cents. And one of the areas that he identifies for diversification to improve the country's foreign exchange supply is tourism. Now, I would make it, I will put my position out there, right? I totally disagree with Ralph Maraj. While he might figure he's bright and all of that, diversification will not solve the problem. It might assist with respect to the Forex supply in the short term, in the medium term. But it will not fix the problem overall, because demand for foreign exchange is not static, right? So if it was fixed, okay, we could say right. But if you diversify the economy and you have new Forex coming into the country, increasing supplies that could treat with demand. But if demand continues to rise, you're spinning top in mud, because all you're doing is filling a hole. So you pour in Forex into the hole, right? Or you pour in Forex into the bucket, and as fast as it goes in the bucket, somebody come and dip out. They dip out. And they dip out faster than you put in. So you throw in one and you run back to get some more, and in the time that it took you to run and get to come and put back in the bucket, somebody come and they dip twice. So that's all you're doing, right? You have the supply and you're pumping it in, and then eventually the pace at which they're taking it out now, they're going from 2 to 3. So 3 dip, the time it take you to put 3 dips in the bucket, it's empty. That is what diversification is going to do. Because when you diversify, you expand the economy. You create new sectors. And you create new sectors, you expand the economy, you create jobs. And in some instances, higher paying jobs. If the economy is booming, employers can pay higher wages, so that the people who currently employed now have more disposable income and they can demand more. And when it is that you have new hires, this is new people you're bringing on who have money, who are able to also make demands. What are they demanding? Foreign products. Most of what we consume in this country comes from abroad. So the more people you have working and the more people you have with more disposable income, they can demand more. So the man with the credit card whose limit is 5,000, when his salary goes up, he can now go back to the bank and say, I want to apply for a limit increase. And the bank might increase it based on his salary to 10,000, to 15,000. So now he has the capacity to spend 3 times the amount that he was spending before on the credit card. And then you have new people, some of whom are leaving school, leaving university, they get jobs. Some of them getting very good paying jobs. Some of them going to work in the banks and so on. And they too get credit cards. So they now have spending power. So, and everybody have a smartphone in your hand, right? So you're on lunch. Let me go through. Let's see what Amazon have there, boy. And the thing is, you don't even have to go and pull it up, you know. You go into your email and all of these companies sending you notifications, emails, telling you about sales that they have in. Black Friday sale coming up, Cyber Monday, Christmas sale, and you just there, and you go into and I click, then good, yeah, boy, that looking good. Add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. When you finish, good, I spend some serious money there, boy. Let me stop. Right? You add to cart, you check out, right? That's an email that come into the country, and you go on home, and you sit down, you go on again, more emails, sale, and you just spending with gear abandon, spending. Because that is how easy it is now to make purchases. You don't have to go in a store. This thing they call Sheen or Shine or whatever the hell it is. Everybody seems to be shopping on that. Talking to my cousin, my 22-year-old cousin last night, and she asking me if I have US because she wants to shop, buy some stuff on Sheen. Okay. I said, no, I don't have my US I have is not here. Amazon. Have you all noticed the increase in the amount of courier services companies in this country? Just check it out and see. From you're coming up the highway after you pass Makoya heading east, you have one called RPM. There's a new one there. Higher up the road, they have WebSource and the Twin City Industrialist, and they have so many. They were on the Southern Main Road, close to Enterprise down there, and you will see on the right hand side if you're heading south. They have another new company, and when you look at the amount of vans, courier vans that they have on that company, it tells you they're doing good business. Not 2 and 3 vans, and you've seen when you check 15 to 20 vans they have there. There are a series of companies like this that are now popping up. Why? Because there is need for these services. All these skybox companies and so on, people bringing in because everybody getting credit cards. And I told you all that before the minister revealed from his meeting with the Bankers Association that credit card issuance went up by 50%. 50%. How significant that is? I told you all, the banks, what they are doing now by reducing the limits on these credit cards, they're trying to rein in the monster that they created, but with the free hand that they have been exercising and giving people credit cards. So now your credit could be bad and the bank giving you a credit card. I told you all about a friend of mine who has an issue right now. He is paying back stale debt to, is it the credit checks or AV Knowles or one of them, right? Because of a credit card that he had years ago and he didn't pay off. Gone back to the same bank, and the same bank gave him a credit card with a limit of $4,000 US. And he was very surprised. He didn't think he was going to get the credit card, but he gets it. So you know what? My boy making plans. Where he go? How we going and spend that money? He want to take a trip. And all the things he want to buy a PS5. He want to buy a PS5 for himself, and he want to buy one for his son. And all the things he want to do. Want to go and shop and get clothes. He need some suits, and he need this, and he need that. And wondering if that $4,000 US will be enough with all the things that he wants to purchase. But this is somebody who has not had a credit card for years and has now gotten one and is wasting no time to utilize that $4,000 US and want to know if he can add money, his own money to the card to go and spend. How many more like him? How many more like him? Because now the banks realize they could make plenty money off of credit cards because the interest rate on credit cards is 24% per annum. And as a former banker, I could tell you, I know from my time in the bank, and I know it hasn't improved. If anything, it has gotten worse. That is a significant portion of the people in this country who hold credit cards, all they're paying for the month is the minimum payment. The credit cards maxed out to the hilt. But unlike a loan, where you have to pay a fixed amount every month, with the credit card, all you have to do is to pay the minimum payment. And sometimes your credit card balance could be $15,000, $20,000, and your minimum payment is $400 and something. And people have no problem paying that. And because credit cards is a revolving line of credit, unlike with a loan, where you get the money, you spend it, and then you have to pay it back. And the monthly payments that you're paying, you don't have access to. With your credit card, right, you spend, but once you pay it off, you have this money renewed. So you always have it there, and people prefer that line of credit now. But that is unsecured debt at 24%. And so when it is you not study, okay, well, your limit is 20,000 and you're owing 10. Yeah, I'll go put that 2,000 or 3,000 when I get paid at the end of the month. And you continue to carry a balance of between $5,000 to $7,000 a month. The bank happy, they're licking you up with interest on that thing, and you looking at that, and they just drawing that off of the credit card. You don't even know. They're not waiting, you know. They're debiting that from your card. And when you pay, that has to be covered. That is the problem. You would be surprised. You see, there are people in this society who we see driving Mercedes-Benz and at BMW and Audi, all the big name cars. Then you know, wow, boy, looking good. They pocket deep. Living off a credit. Again, these are the things that you see as a banker. When you see these people coming in and you know them because you always see them on TV, they're always giving a comment on TV and on radio, they're being interviewed, and then they come into the bank. That's one place where you go, everybody equal, and to some extent, but everybody had to go to the bank. Regardless, rich, poor, indifferent, have to come to the bank. And you get to see their business. Even if you want to know, as an employee at the bank, you go and check. That's something that the workers used to do. Yeah, they want to know, let me see how much money this person have in their account. Let me see how much how much money. That's what the workers do. They have access. And then you see this person who you think is this big shot coming to pay the credit card. And when you check, tens of thousands of dollars owing and all they're paying is the minimum payment. See what? So that when it is the ministers told us that is one of the contributors. He didn't say it's the problem. He says one of the contributors to the Forex issues. And you have Dr. Valmiki Arjun, who is the media's favorite go-to economist. And then the head of the Shogunas Chamber, the president of the Shogunas Chamber of Commerce, disagreeing with the minister that credit cards are contributing to the Forex crisis. They're saying credit cards not contributing. How the hell you could tell me credit cards not contributing? What utter rubbish. Well, if credit cards aren't contributing to the Forex issue, why are the banks cutting the limits? If people not spending on their credit cards, why are the banks trying to rein in the credit card spend by reducing limits? Clearly, it's because people spending on the credit cards. The bank didn't do anything else. The main thing, and this whole conversation about the Forex came about as a result of what? Because the Royal Bank decided that they're going to cut the limit by a significant amount. But all the time, had that not happened, we wouldn't be having this conversation in earnest as we are having it now. The fact is, the issue of demand, as I mentioned yesterday on the program, and as I was telling Darian, but the issues that you're faced with is every single day you have new things coming up on stream that is competing for person's money. And that is why this nonsense that we're talking about diversified economy and that is going to solve the problem because you have more Forex coming in is rubbish. I gave the example yesterday, Caribbean Airlines. It seems every week Caribbean Airlines introducing a new route. Turks and Caicos, Martinique, and all of these places that before, if you had to go there, they weren't direct flights. So you had to transit through a US port, maybe Miami, maybe New York, as the case may be, right? But if you didn't have a US visa, you couldn't do that. So you couldn't go to these places. Now, you could direct, book a flight, Caribbean Airlines from Trinidad, and you're going to these places. When it is that Caribbean Airlines introduced Puerto Rico as a route, and then shortly thereafter, Frontier Airlines. Frontier's first trip, inaugural flight from Port of Spain, as they say, to San Juan in Puerto Rico, was full. Full with who? Elves? Full with who? Duendes? Citizens who claiming they're suffering and they have no money and everything, the price of the cost of living too high and they can't get 200 US in the bank and all of that and they're struggling. But the flight full. How they pay for that flight? How did they pay for the ticket? With what? Pesos? TT dollars? EC dollars? It's US. And then when they get to Puerto Rico, what did they do? They pitch a tent outside the airport in the car park. They go into Airbnb and they go into hotels. All of these things being paid for in US dollars. Because I had a credit card and now I could go to Puerto Rico from Trinidad, right? Direct flight. I always wanted to see what Puerto Rico looked like. And when they go and they enjoy themselves and they come back by Puerto Rico, real nice, you know. You had to go. Yeah, well, all right, well, let me go. Would I'm out. I am certain. Why do you think Caribbean Airlines and Frontier didn't do their research in terms of demand? Why would you offer a route that would be dead? They're promoting their route. And every time somebody jump on a plane, we're paying it's US dollars. Come on, man. But they said it had nothing to do with it. It's not the credit card. Capital flight. The people who take in the US and taking it abroad and depositing it in US banks and in US investment instruments, notwithstanding the fact that we have a number of US investment instruments here that are performing extremely well this year and to some extent in last year into this year, and it has continued. Depending on if you get it right, there are US investments in this country that are being offered by the banks and various other financial institutions paying you between 12 to 15% is the return so far for this year. Unit trust, even some of the banks, that's what I'm saying. But people taking the US and they could get it and they're sending it abroad and putting it in banks abroad because it's not that hard to open an account in the US. Even if Even if they're not getting interest on the account, they don't mind. You know why? Because what they're looking to do is to build credit in the US. So when you open your account with the US bank and you put in money and you're stockpiling, and the bank realizes, hey, this is somebody, because you have citizens, and it's not that difficult for you to amass a balance that is greater than what the average American citizen has in their bank account. In fact, I saw a survey that was done recently that says the average American has about $1,400 to $1,500 in their account. So that when you could maintain a balance of between $5,000 to $10,000 or more, the bank watching you, yeah, this person clearly they're doing well, because this money sit down there for 2 years, 3 years, and they ain't touching it. And all they keep doing is adding to it and adding to it. So you know, next thing you know, you want a credit card? No problem. You apply, and they hit your credit card, and the limit is 5,000 US, right? And then next thing, and you have, if you have you need a US address, they start bombarding you. From the time you get that one credit card, a whole set of other credit card companies sending you pre-approved application. You just have to go online and complete the application and credit card. And of course, this gives you a credit score, your FICO score. You check, 850 is considered to be good, very good. And when you check and your score is 850 because you're using the credit card responsibly. You even wait as soon as a balance pop up, you know you spend and the balance come up on your card. Online, you pay it one time. The bank offering you a next one. Or you could go online and increase your limit as you please. You don't need to apply, and you're getting a response within seconds. Unlike what applies here, you have to apply for the increase, and they want job letter, and they want pay slip, and all of these different things, right? All that they want. And then it has to go before the credit committee and all of this such a thing. Sometimes it can take a month, 2 months before you get a response. The US, you're getting a response in under a minute. So these are the issues that we are faced with. But if you're not earning income in the US, you're taking the US from here to carry it abroad so you could stockpile in your account and be able to pay your US credit card. People doing that. And then you have to deal with the speculative demand. People who hoard in US because they're hoping that to force the government into devaluation so then they could come and flood the system with US dollars and make a profit. But the Prime Minister made it abundantly clear yesterday in the Parliament, there will be no devaluation. So all who hoping for that, think again. Because what is devaluation going to do? Ask a silly question. Increase the cost of living. Even more. But I want folks to listen and look at who it is pushing that narrative. And it's not now they're pushing that nonsense. It's not now. Look at who. The government is telling you. But I think these same clowns and the fully dons will give the government credit for that and say, oh yeah, the Prime Minister looking out for the average citizen. The Minister of Finance looking out for the average citizen. Because they know we import a lot of stuff, and if you devalue the dollar, what is going to happen? The price of imports is going to go up. And not just the direct finished products. The manufacturing sector in Trinidad and Tobago as well import a lot of their ingredients, import a lot of their inputs for the final product. So that too, the price of that too is going to go up. So if we complain now about the things hard and it's so rough in the country, what do you think is going to happen when you devalue? But they're not explaining this to the common man, no. Because I am hearing some of the conversations outside here. My Lord, have mercy. Have mercy. I have encountered a few people who listen here over the past. Practically every day I run into somebody on the street or wherever it is, or wherever I go, right, who listen to the program. Let me say good morning to all of them. There's so many, I can't remember all of the names, but you know yourselves, and let me extend good morning to you, right? But some of these persons have expressed concerns to me about their feelings with respect to the results of next year's general election, coming on the heels of what happened in the United States, where Kamala Harris was all but sure to win, and then you had that surprise outcome for some. Those who feel convinced that they knew that Trump was going to win for whatever reason. But now that we are subject to the examinations of why Trump won and the messaging, that notwithstanding all the things they were hearing about Project 25 and all the things that he was going to do, mass immigration and so on, you still even had Latinos, Hispanics, persons who are undocumented, right, supporting Trump, encouraging their family members who are documented and who can vote to vote for Trump. And now interviews are being done, and some of these folks who are immigrants who voted for Trump, but who have family members in the United States who are undocumented. You know what they say now? Well, we hope that Mr. Trump will have a heart and that he will spare our family members because we voted for him. Really? Trump couldn't care less about all you. Couldn't care less. Right? And people are expressing concerns, and rightly so. with respect to, because let me give you all an example of an exchange that I had, and you know, these things could really leave you deflated because you really can't educate stupid. Let me get this here, right? So kick out the PNM, posted, you know, one of the usual bacchanal posts just now. Let me get it there. See if it's still there, which one it was. Let's know. Which is it? Let me see, was it this one way? Was it this one? Can't remember which one of the posts it was, but anyway, because they have a post that I think is this one, talking about the WASA CEO salary, over $100,000 a month he's in it. But we have a problem with giving the Prime Minister a salary of $87,000, but the WASA CEO earning over $100,000. So anyway, whichever post it was. So I was going through it and I came across one of the comments and I couldn't help, I had to engage because I found it was bordering on abject stupidity. A gentleman by the name of Shane Gopi, right? And in his comment, he's talking about the, you know, when government do nothing, and I can't remember how he brought it up because I'm looking for the comment. I didn't screenshot that one, but he was basically saying that, let me see if I have it here, right? Claiming that the 4 vessels, or the four ferries that the government is paying how much hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to lease these ferries. And I commented and I had to let him know that the 4 ferries, all 4, the APT James, the Bucco Reef, the Galleon's Passage, and the TNT Spirit are all owned by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. They're not paying any. The only vessel that they pay a lease for or rent for on a monthly basis is the Cabo Star, which is a cargo vessel. This clown want to fight me to tell me that is, we don't own, the government doesn't own the boat. So it's a back and forth between the two of us, and I'm sending him articles telling him about the APT James and the Bucco Reef. Here what this fully done tells me. Let me read it for you. So I'm telling him, right, about, here's what he says. What vessels are in use now? I am not talking about the future. I am talking presently. We haven't received those vessels yet. Oh, I forget you is one of those illiterates who can't read and understand again, and that vessel service the sea bridge presently. It out 5 vessels. So he is telling, he thinks that the APT James and the Bucco Reef, which is the 2 vessels that were custom built for Trinidad and Tobago, he thinks that is yet to come. Here he's saying, you know, what vessels are in use now? I'm not talking about the future. I'm talking presently. We haven't received those vessels yet. So he still thinks the 2 vessels that building in Australia still under construction. This clown. And want to challenge me on that. So when you have that level of dotish in society, and I had to tell him, I said, boss man, the 2 vessels, the APT James and the Bucco Reef, already here. What are you talking about? Are you dumb or just pretending to be? Because I can't believe you have one person so stupid. And I have no qualms in saying that. My mind is blown. He talking about those vessels are not here yet. So clearly he not reading. He don't understand. So I had to tell him, why do you think the 2 vessels have local names? The APT James, you know who APT James is? Why do you think one is named Bucco Reef? You know why? If it is we are leasing these vessels, you can't change the name. And I mean, I had to give up. They said, there's an old saying, never try to argue with a fool because he will beat you with experience. But it have plenty more like this individual out there. So come in here and you're talking, and so that's why we have people like Winston Bachelor and Leo and whoever is the next one who like to come here and no matter what you say, you can't help. And these people have the ability to vote. They have the right to cast a ballot come 2025. And if that level of idiocy exists out there, that you come in to tell me the vessels ain't reached yet, that is in the future. And where did he get that from? Where did he get that from? It is because of the fora that he is utilizing to get his information, that publishing all this dotishness, and these people buying into that. This dotish talk about the pitch lake has been leased, or the government sell the pitch lake to the Chinese. And they keep talking about this 2.6 billion. The minister has gone to great pains to explain the 2.6 billion. We have heard, we have read where the senior auditors from the Auditor General's department who would have gone to the Ministry of Finance, interrogated the documents that were presented with respect to the 2.6 billion, and they are satisfied with the explanation given. Case closed. It's only their boss who continues to drag this thing out because she has a vested interest in doing so, because she has been lifted to hero status. And if it is she has to come and admit that she was wrong, what is going to happen? So every time anything I see posted, you're going to the comments, somebody talking about the 2.6 billion missing, the 2.6 billion missing. They can't account for the 2.6 billion, but they seem to forget it started at 3.3. How it come down to 2.6? So if the minister went to the Auditor General and say, here, what? We have a revenue shortfall of 3.3 billion, right? 3.3 billion is the revenue shortfall. Apparently, when you and your department were auditing the documents and the financials we sent to you, you didn't pick up on that. Right? So I'm bringing it to your attention that there is a $3.3 billion shortfall. It dropped to 2.6. So if the minister said 3.3 and it dropped to 2.6, it means that you all accept the explanation given for the 700 and something $million, which was part of the revenue short. So he was only, so he first he thieved 3.3 and now it's 2.6 he thieved. So the 700 and some odd million that you all were saying he stole, well, we accept that, right? That he didn't steal that. But he thieved the 2.6 billion. Right? Where is the logic? So the minister thieved 3.3 billion, realized the Auditor General didn't pick up on it, and then he had an attack of conscience and decided, let me go and tell the Auditor General I thieved 3.3 billion and I need her to put that in the accounts, right? Because clearly she missed it. Because when you're thief, you're supposed to inform those that you're thief from that you're thief. Yeah, that's how it does work. Donkey logic. The fully done, but them bright. And I can't understand it. Who does that? You went and thief and you had an attack of conscience. I went to the police and say, well, I thief, but I ain't giving all it back, but I just want all it to know a thief. Despite the fact the central bank in their progress report spoke to the issues with the electronic cash clearance system, the errors. The Auditor General she wants to go and see for herself. As I say, put her finger in the wound, like Doubting Thomas. She wants to see. Okay, go and see. But the fact of the matter is that you have people who so latched on and who so wedded to this thing. The government thieved 2.6 billion. And no matter how you try to explain, but the minister, and I would go so far as to say the minister and the government had to take some licks for that. Because the forum in which they have sought to explain this thing is insufficient. Because the minister, where he has given the most detailed explanation as to what happened with the double entry and so on, he has done that in the parliament. Failing to understand perhaps that the majority of the citizens who are making this claim that the government thief and the minister thief 2.6 billion do listen to the parliament channel. So they will not hear when he gives this detailed explanation. You need a different forum that is in people's faces. So those who are not inclined to go and put the television on channel 109 or whatever is the station on your cable provider, whatever station the parliament channel is on, or those who are not inclined to go on YouTube and pull up the View, the parliament channel, and look at what is happening, they will continue to be misinformed. If the minister call a press conference, these people don't have time for that. So what you need to use a forum that people are most likely to listen to. And what happens? When you call a public meeting, even if they don't like you, they will still listen. When you broadcast it on TV6 and you broadcast it on TTT, they will listen. When the next morning you run it on I-95.5, they will listen. They will hear. Somebody will hear it. More people will hear it than if the only place you explain it is in the parliament where they're not inclined to listen. But I keep making the point. The UNC having Monday night forum, waste of time. Sunday morning, waste of time press conference. They have the pavement report now, I think on a Wednesday or Tuesday, and then they call the occasional press conference. So they're spreading their misinformation all over, and then they have their Facebook profile and the social media profiles where they continue to spread their misinformation all over. How is the government getting the truth out? So while the UNC supporters are fed a constant diet of propaganda and misinformation on a regular basis every week, we, the supporters of the PNM, suffering from stiff neck because we're only looking up every night for a full moon or a blue moon, because it seems we get a public meeting once in a blue moon. So we always looking out for a blue moon to see when we're going to get a public meeting so that we can hear the ministers explain the things that are in the public domain that is being misrepresented by those opposed to the government. And the channels that we have to explain are limited. I can only do so much. Jenny can only do so much. Juliet from time to time has started back her lives, and she could only do so much. I see Rhoda Barath News Source is now back on, and she's slowly cranking up. She had an interview with the Minister of Finance a couple nights ago. But we are in a minority in comparison to the amount of people who spreading misinformation and lies. Where is the support? Where is the support? All we're asking for is more frequent public meetings. Are we going to wait until 3 months before the election to start having these meetings? When the lies and the propaganda has taken root in the minds of some of these people, and they already make up their mind who they're going to vote for. So it don't matter what Rowley come with, what Rowley say every night that they have in meetings 3 months before the election or 4 months before. It doesn't matter. These people would have already bought into the lies and the propaganda and make up their mind who they're going to vote for. So they didn't even want to hear. You could come with what? Because that is not just what they're hearing. It is the hatred that what they're hearing is sowing. So they hate the Prime Minister for no good reason, based on lies, untruths. And once that hatred is sown, it don't matter what you come with. I tell you, my friend who keeps sending me rubbish time after time on WhatsApp and asking me to explain that. Let me see you defend your government now. Let me see you defend your party now. On every occasion, I do it. I say, yeah, man, you're good, You're real good, boy. You know your stuff. But yet still you continue to send me rubbish. And this is somebody who I know was a staunch defender of the PNM before. But you know what? He too is buying into this constant diet of misinformation, lies, and propaganda. And because they packaging it in a way that it's looking and sounding believable, if you ain't good for yourself, it make you stop and think, what? That's what the government doing, boy? Nah, boy. But we can't reach everybody through these limited platforms. We cannot. And that is why more effort needs, because the fact that people continue to talk about this 2.6 billion, and that is why the Auditor General, she know what she's doing, because she digging in her heels. And as long as she continues to take the stance that she takes, there are going to be people out there who are thinking, yeah, the thief. The thief. And then you're not getting any help from the Express newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, any of them, as a matter of fact. Because the explanation should have been a front page. They should have gone into detailed explanation on that matter. But no, not even the editorial will come and say, well, okay, the minister has explained whatnot and whatnot, and discuss the issue. Let people understand that outcome in the Privy Council the other day with respect to the Auditor General. What did that mean? There are people who have interpreted that outcome to mean that the Auditor General was correct and that the government thief and the money cannot be found and the money cannot be explained. Rubbish. I explained it to you all. All that case did, that judgment from the Privy Council, all it simply was, the Auditor General is contesting the decision by the government to include her and her office in their probe to find out what went on with the 3.3 billion, what led to the understatement of the country's revenue, and how we could fix the problem going forward to ensure that it doesn't happen again. But she finds she should not be subject to that probe, because her being subject to that probe means there are certain questions she will have to answer. With respect to allegations and claims made by the minister that in the early days of the public servants discovering the issue and seeking to reach out to her for guidance on how to proceed, that she would have been ignoring emails from the permanent secretary, ignoring phone calls, WhatsApp messages, and did not seek to assist or to provide any sort of guidance to the public servants on how they should proceed, which would have precipitated the decision to go to the minister to ask for his intervention. Because if the permanent secretary, who is the second highest office in the ministry, if that person couldn't reach, well, then I think we got to get the minister involved. And so she would have to answer those questions. Is it true that you received emails from the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance raising this issue and seeking your guidance, and you ignored these emails? Why did you do that? She has to answer. She don't want to have to answer those things because she is enjoying hero status. The fully done's have her up there on a pedestal. That is their new hero, Wonder Woman, 2024. And she needs to maintain, because all of a sudden she's popular. Nobody knew who she was before this issue. Right? Before this issue popped up earlier, nobody knew who Jayawanti Ramdas was. She was obscure, a non-starter, a nobody. No, ask anybody who was her predecessor. What was the name of the Auditor General before her? They can't tell you. Because they don't care about these officers because they're not in the limelight. But all of a sudden, she has gained star fame. Everybody know the name Jayawanti Ramdas. And she wants to remain in the limelight. Right? She's up there. How do you do that? By continuing to be a nuisance. Continuing to maintain your obstinacy with respect to this whole matter, not wanting to put it to bed, by going to the extreme. Has she gone to central bank yet? I have not seen it reported anyway. But again, the media are not interested in that. They're not interested in that. To call and, well, has the meeting taken place yet? Could you tell us what the outcome was? You think they want to see a resolution to that? No, they like ever so often that it has some piece of bacchanal with respect to that they could post on the front page with a certain misinformation. That's what they like. Case in point. Same Express newspaper that I have long written off as a tabloid. Let me give you an example, right? The Express posted a couple articles recently. Let me see if I find it. I know I saved it. Let me see the time there, because I said I had to jump out in a bit. Where is it? Where is it? Let me get this one here. Tell you, there's so many things I saved to talk about, yes? I need a whole day. Let me see, Express, where is it? Let me see if this. Give me one sec, folks. Let me just find this. Where is it? All right, I ain't seen it here. But the Ministry of Works and Transport put out a communique recently, just a few days ago, indicating the work that they're doing on the extension of the highway. They're heading to south, and that they would be doing some works, significant works with respect, I guess, to the whatever it is, the work, whatever it is, right? The press release specifically said the works will be taking place between 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. Right? So you know that is when hardly have any traffic. The Express published that on Facebook. And the caption was, "Brace for traffic mayhem." Brace for traffic mayhem. Right? But when you read the communique that was sent out by the ministry, and you see the time 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., how much traffic you have on the road at that time? So I was minded to, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, here we go again. So I went into the comments as usual. And what drew my attention to read the actual document that was sent out by the ministry is that in the comments, people were calling out the Express, and they say, well, like, the Express didn't read, the Express need to go back and read that that document again. What's going on with the Express? And you had a whole line of comments with people criticizing and asking the Express what foolishness they want. I said, well, let me go back and read it. And that is when I saw what the time was. So it's either whoever put out that didn't read it, right? Because to put up a big headline, "Brace for traffic mayhem." Look at how they're treating with this issue with the Salaries Review Commission recommendation for increases in the salaries of a number of public servants. But clickbait, what are they doing? They continue to couch this, Prime Minister, pay raise for PM. Pay raise for PM. So for the headline readers who are not going to go into the article and read it in depth, right? The Express given the impression that it's the Prime Minister alone going and get this pay raise. And they know that they have some people from the time they see that, they're going off on a tantrum. Rowley murder so-and-so. That's so-and-so Rowley. You care what people suffering and he want to increase the pay. They wouldn't explain to the people how the process works. But it's making it seem, and the Guardian did it too. Pay raise for Prime Minister, and then in small, and other high officials. But let us make it the Prime Minister, because when people see that pay raise for Rowley, he give 4%, they offer public servants 4%, and now he going and get a pay raise. Nah, boy. That is what they're doing to sell newspaper. That is what they're doing to grab people's attention. But it's still not selling. Because people will watch that, they're passing on the road and they say, Rowley. So that for those of us who are inclined to go and read now and would see the proposed salary increase for the leader of the opposition is significantly more in terms of percentage. They are proposing that the leader of the opposition, whoever occupies that post, will get a 71 or 72% increase in salary. But they're not talking about that, Every time they call Kamala for a comment, all efforts to contact the leader of the opposition has proven futile. She don't want to comment on it. They asked several opposition MPs if they support it, and everybody quiet, everybody reserving comment. No comment. All of a sudden, they know what no comment means. But you know what? All of them wanted to know. But they're hoping the government, with the majority, will come and pass it. And the government will take the licks for it. But they will still enjoy the benefits of it because they will get their back pay, they will get their salary increases, and they're happy. And they rock back and enjoying it while Rowley taking licks and Imbud taking licks and the other members on the government bench taking licks. These wretches, you know what they will do? If they come and they realize that the government is going to support it, when it comes to them, abstain, abstain, abstain. Well, we didn't vote for it, we abstain. But it passed because the government has the majority. But secretly, I'm out. You go and get a pay raise by back pay, but I go and do that back pay. Yeah, let Rowley and them take the licks for it. But we will abstain, and then we'll come and say, well, the government, we abstain and we didn't support it and whatnot. To fool people. When they very well know they support it. I'm going to play this for you, right? A tale of one MP and a former MP. Don't worry, right? It's not a crave indulgence morning. So you ain't going and hear him. Let me get this here. Listen to this. Right. Get this one here, right? Where is it? Listen to one of their own call them out on the foolishness and the hypocrisy. Right. Get this here. Former member of parliament for Barataria San Juan, Fuad Khan. Media wouldn't talk about that. They wouldn't go and ask him for an interview. Let me see if I get this here. Where is it? Where is it? So just no, I don't think it's that far back. That's not my folks. All right, let me play this one first. Rambali.
Right. The Salary Review Committee recommended hefty raises for top office holders in the country, including the President, Prime Minister, Cabinet members, and other high-level officials. If approved, the Prime Minister's salary will jump from $59,000 to $87,000 a month, with a whopping $1 million in back pay. Now let's pause and think. The SRC recommended this. It didn't mandate it. The government has a choice. But where we are already struggling with the rising cost of food, gas, electricity, water, are now included on top of that property taxes, do the highest paid officials really need a big fat increase? But in Trinidad and Tobago, restraint, common sense, and decency are as scarce as US dollars these days. I am therefore calling on this PNM government to do the decent thing and reject this pay rise. But Trinidad and Tobago, here's the real problem. While everyone is angry about these salary increases, let's not forget the issues which the government wants to distract us from. There's a serious crime crisis, there's a Forex crisis, there's industrial unrest, with strikes threatening to cripple the economy. And let's not even start on the crisis in our government schools. So yes, let's be angry about these proposed salaries, but don't be distracted. Demand accountability on the issues affecting all of us.
You see, Rambali can talk that talk because he is on his way out, right? He is on his way out. He knows that right now a grave is being prepared for him in the political cemetery. So he should be picking out headstones, what he wants, and writing his own eulogy. He and the next four of them, right? Their political careers have come to an end. So he will not benefit from any increase, save and except for the next few months and when it becomes effective, right? But he's not going to benefit in any sustained way. So he could talk that talk, right? Because if I am my way out, me really wanted to be wondering, boy, if I was still there, I could have been earning that money, you know. If I was still there, I'd be eating that food, you know. If I was still there, I'd be getting that. So he on his way out, he could talk that type of talk, right? But you see what he did there? He zeroed in and identified only the prime minister's salary increase and what the prime minister's back pay will be. But no mention about the leader of the opposition. No mention of the fact that whatever the prime minister's salary is, she will receive as a pension, as a former prime minister. She is going to receive the prime minister's salary as a pension. So when they want to couch it as Rowley and the prime minister getting $87,000 a month, yeah, he getting a salary for which he's working. Kamala getting it as pension. And what does she do for it? Nothing. Save and except for every now and again come and talk a piece of rubbish. She getting back pay too. Her salary is going to is proposed to move from 29,000 and change to 52,000 and change as opposition leader. And she getting prime minister's salary as pension, 70-something years old. And then she continues to earn a salary as well as the elected member of parliament for Separia. And all the perks that come with it. So when they want to pretend as only Rowley, she stands to benefit far more than Dr. Rowley, but they're not having that conversation. They're not having that conversation. But we know people vex, they want to cost Rowley, because Rowley only offering 4%, 5%. And look at the big back pay that he want to get. And this nonsense about the government. The Salaries Review Commission is doing their job. This is what they get paid to do, the members of that entity. And he starts off by talking about the Salaries Review Committee. You don't even know the blasted name of the entity. It's the Salaries Review Commission. When a few months ago, Dr. Rowley spoke about the issue of service commissions and the need for us to move away from that and get away. They had plenty to say. They rake him over the coals. But today they're cussing the same Salaries Review Commission. Same one they cussing, pretending that they cussing. So let me come out front and say that I rejected it. But if the government vote for it, you feel Rambali going and say, well, yeah, what now? I don't support it. So don't give me the increase. I don't want no back pay. You feel he going and say that? When time come to receive money, you feel he going to the paymaster and say, hey, what the controller of accounts and say, the new salary, I don't want it. Eh? So you'll keep the difference and just continue to pay me the salary I've been earning for the last 9 years and so. So yeah, I don't want that. Or the last 5, what? You feel he going and say that? No. I don't want the back pay. Blasted hypocrites. Come and say you don't support it, but you know what it requires is a majority vote from the government for it to happen. Which one of them who complain, who say now they don't want it, will go and tell the controller of accounts they don't want the money? Which one of them? Not one. All of them will take it, and happily so. But the hypocrisy and the fully done supporters want to come and tell the government and Rowley want a pay raise. Dr. Rowley working on same 2013 salary like the rest of them. Like everybody else, like the same public servants who complaining that is still working on 2013 salary, the prime minister too, and the rest of the government too. And this stupid talk about the prime minister doesn't pay income tax, rubbish. The prime minister paying the same 25% income tax plenty of you all no longer paying thanks to him and his government's policies. Those of you who were paying income taxes between 2010 to 2015 and who are no longer doing so because the government increased your personal allowance from 60 to 90,000. Which constitutes an increase in your salary, in the amount of money that you're getting to take home, as opposed to 2010 to 2015. The Prime Minister had that facility. Yes, he would have been because it went up by 90,000. He too benefits from the personal allowance, but it's negligible in reference to what his salary is. So he paying tens of thousands of dollars every year, or probably over $100 and something thousand in income tax every year. I don't know where they get his dotishness from that the government and the Prime Minister, they don't pay income tax. Rubbish. The only thing they don't pay taxes on is the purchase of a vehicle every 2 years, the related taxes. And if they sell the vehicle within a particular time frame, they have to pay the taxes, right? So miss us for that BS. All of that rubbish talk. But they want it. All of them. But let me get the other one for you in the interest of time. That's what he say. Let me get forward. A former member of parliament, and it's not the first time he has taken such a position.
Hey, Sunday morning, coming down. When I hear all those people who are in opposition saying that the Salary Review Commission money should not be taken, it should be rejected because people in the country suffering and the union, they get money and the prices are high and all kind of rubbish. I want to tell people all that is bullshit. Don't listen to them charlatans. All of them want the money, but they're just pretending they don't want the money. If they don't want the money, then work for nothing, work for free. When you're in government and people costing you and you had to manage billions of dollars in finance, do like Singapore. Pay your people the best, pay them as a CEO in a private sector, get the best, get this country moving, and let everybody else just shut up. Let the Salary Review Commission do what they want. A prime minister should get $150,000 a month or more. A member of parliament, a government minister should get almost $120,000 a month or more, with a back pay promising you millions of dollars, at least 1 million per year. And when you go, because when you end your term and somebody else is voted in, you are treated like a dog in this country. Nobody calls you, your phone don't ring, you don't get invited to no function, you get no hampers, you get nothing from nobody. You're treated like a stinking dog. So take the damn money and stop listening to all them hypocrites who want to reject it. Fed up of hypocrites.
That's one of the one calling them out. Last I checked, Fuad Khan is not PNM, right? He has been calling for unity, and if it is, yeah, I think he mentioned the other day, if they want to call him back, should they win next year, he's open to it. But he's telling you, a bunch of hypocrites. BS is what they're talking. All of them want the money. No, we don't think the timing is right. And given the state of the country and the Prime Minister say tighten your belt, and they have no more holes in the belt to put, and all of that. Stupidness, we know all you want the money and fooling nobody. But should it come to a vote? Remember, the last report, it was rejected, Prime Minister said, and the recommended salary was less than what this one is now recommending, and that was rejected. All right? So it's left to be seen what will happen. I see Terence Farrell, former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, is in support of the increase. There are those who say, okay, get them an increase, but not to the quantum that is being proposed. All right, you could look at that too. But let us not forget, in 2013, these same blasted hypocrites who come in now to tell you that now is not the right time, and they don't support it like Mr. Rambali there. In 2013, when the Salaries Review Commission recommended a 25% increase in salary for parliamentarians, 25%, at the time when they were offering 5%, the government then, right? 25%, Munla said that is not enough. That is disrespectful. 25% increase doesn't take into account the fact that we are, as an MP or a full-time MP, that if you lie down in your bed 2 o'clock in the morning and somebody's house burned down and you get a call, you have to jump in your car and you have to go and see. It doesn't take into account that 25% is not enough to compensate you for that. When you hug up Natasha in the night and she's snowing in your ears, yeah? And if you get a call, you have to jump in your car and go and see. When the fire took place in Separatist early last year, where mother and daughter lost their life, Pasad Bisasa went. Did she show up on the scene to commiserate and offer condolences to the family members? Did she attend the funeral? No, she didn't. So miss me with this nonsense about his full time and you have to jump in your car when somebody's house on fire and 2 o'clock in the morning. You feel you leave in the bed? And Natasha said, where you going? Yeah, well, look, boy, listen, you're a firefighter? You're a fireman? What you could do? Wait for that. You go in the morning and see you, check the ashes, check the cinder and see what happened there. Forget that. Go back in your bed. You know? But Pandey, remember what Pandey said? Wake me up when it's over. Really? They ready parliament? Yeah, cool. I tired, yes, girl. Yeah, when it's done, let me know. Yes, wake me up. I go back and sleep. The 25% wasn't enough for he. When the Salaries Review Commission recommended that they remove the perks with respect to no taxes and so on the purchase of a vehicle, he say money lal on them. Uproar. They're mad. How the hell you could do that? They fight for it. The 2013 was all right. 2024? Nah, now is not a good time. Blasted hypocrite Rambly all over the place. Can't decide if he's fish or fowl. All over. He deserves to go. Right? They need to dig that hole in the political cemetery, that grate that they dig in. Instead of 6 feet, they need to make it 15 feet. Right? And encase it in concrete. Because politicians like him, make sure he don't ever come out. We don't want no political necromancy and you all come and in a couple of years and bring him back. Let he say it. Right? And dig one for Anil Roberts too. Maybe this time. Stupid. Folks, it have plenty more things to talk about, right? But I don't have the time this morning, as I told you. I really don't have the time. But just to finish up on that issue of the Salary Review Commission, to remind people that these people are doing their jobs. That is what they get paid to do, right? They collect a fee, a director's fee, or whatever it is every month. And if it is that we have a problem with what it is, the product that they deliver, well, then dismantle the commission. But you can't be attacking the people for doing the work that they're getting paid to do. It's your taxpayers' money that paying them every month. So they're doing the job that they have to do. If they don't produce a report, they will say, well, the Salary Review Commission hasn't produced a report in 2 years. The Salary Review Commission hasn't done thing, and we need to bring them before the Parliament, a joint select committee, to inquire as to why they have not produced a report. But when they produce a report, you're criticizing it. That is their job. In the same way, you have public servants expect to get a pay raise every 3 years. In the same way, parliamentarians expect that too. But they have not gotten, and people upset because they buy into this narrative of who's suffering and so on and all of that. But you had over 12,000 people enjoying themselves in Juve in San Fernando. What day it was? 30,000 people went to Carnival in Tobago and spent how much money for costumes and all of that? How many of them before that, just a couple of weeks before, went to Carnival in Miami? And all who gearing up for the long Carnival season that is ahead of us next year, but we're suffering. But every all-inclusive sellout, I know very soon, probably in the next couple of weeks or so, tickets for Fete with the Saints will come out. The most difficult Fete to get tickets for is probably going to come out in the next couple of weeks, right? And I bet you bottom dollar, it will be sold out just like last year, the year before, and the year before that. Tickets are going to sell out within a matter of not even hours. The last time it sold out in 45 minutes. 45 minutes, they closed the gates. Nobody else. 2 tickets per person. They can afford to do that. And we're talking ticket prices are between $1,400 and $1,500 and $2,000. Sells out in 45 minutes. What we suffering? We have money to buy food. But you could do that. And that's just one of several fetes that we will attend. 7701763. Let me take this one here just now. Hold on one sec. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Yes. Well, you know, I have always told you about the lack of variety, the lack of originality in Raznarath's column.
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing over. Same words, same language, same theme. Social decay, attacking Carnival, fornicating in the world, same nonsense. And of course, it is your personal attacks on government people, in particular Dr. Ravi. Now, some time ago, you see, and this foolishness about the big old man, that is a misnomer. That is foolishness, because his grammar is butchering the English language, is rubbish. Nobody who knows anything about proper prose writing would support and condone anything about these big dramatic statements. Bam, 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 exclamation mark, bam, 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 question mark, bam, 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 dash, this, that, the other. That is foolishness. That is ABC thing. That is second form nonsense. That is foolishness. He's just full of empty dramatics. He has just transferred the foolishness from being Macbeth on the stage to the newspaper. Total foolishness. And in addition to that, some months ago, at the beginning of one of his articles, let me show you how much of an idiot and an illiterate he really is. At one of the beginning of his article, he talked about Dr. Rowley giving Stuart Young, isn't it, free rein to do whatever he wants to do. Free rein, R-E-I-G-N. R-E-I-G-N. This idiot doesn't even understand the concept of a jockey riding a horse, and he's given a rein to either control the speed of the horse or release the rein to allow it to run as fast as the horse wants to run. That is the concept of it.
Big word, man.
Idiot with R-E-I-G-N. Free rein, R-E-I-G-N. So I always found that this foolishness about this little thing they have with him on the radio, but listen to the big word, man. That's just damn nonsense. As a his friend used to say, it is just a diarrhea of words. Apart from the fact, it is all a very sad tissue of repetition. It's the same thing every Sunday. And as I told him last week before he interrupted me, he didn't even allow me to complete my statement. Why do you constantly refer to the Eberton of the Rowley as the Digo Martin dinosaurs? And he came back with that. Darian read the package from Sunday, and he came back with it again. What does that have to do with the people's performance in office? Nothing. So he has to personalize it and stink up the place and say nasty personal things about people. Just as some years ago, he attacked Gatsby Dolly for her hairstyles. Now, if her name was Anjani Singh, he would have never attacked her for different hairstyles. And in the same article, he referred to Mervyn Edmund Dillon, the then minister. He referred to him as a quote-unquote walking derelict. A walking derelict. I have one thing to say about Murad this morning. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. You are not above reproach. And if it is that you are sober when you are making these statements and you are writing these things, well, I'm very sorry for you, because there seems to be, there's a hangover and a package of inebriation in most of what you write. And it is a grave pity, and I'm not being personal here, but you should not be any columnist in any newspaper. Once you personalize anything and calling people all kinds of nasty names, the Express should hang its head in shame. Unless, as I said before, and say it again finally, unless the Express has kept him on as the newsletter and the organ of the UNC in the Sunday newspaper, the Sunday issue. And that is all I have to say about Rad Mirage. But you see, yes, Darian says that he must be kept there as a foil. Okay, foil, yeah. Something to bounce off the ball from, like a badminton player or tennis player, hitting the ball against the wall, and yeah, you use him as a foil. But even as he's a foil, he's not entitled to insult people. He's not entitled to insult people. You keep him there as a foil, yes, that's all right. But he's not entitled to insult people. And he continues to do that, and my personal view is that should be stopped. You could use him as a foil, but he's not entitled to insult people.
Indeed.
That is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I couldn't agree with you more. Right? And the personal insults that he leveled against Darian yesterday was totally uncalled for, to tell him, man, he should go and take reading lessons, and he didn't understand certain words and so on. Let me get this here just now. One second. I think Darian handled it well. Somebody else might, anyway. Anyway, yeah. Let me get this here. Where is it? Jenny.
Hello.
Yeah, Jen. Hello.
Hello, morning, Dominic.
Yeah, Jen, go ahead.
Morning to you and all those who look to success about things. The best thing happened to Ralph Mirage is working from home. Because I guess sooner or later he may have had to put himself up to get some situation may have happened. He had to take a breathalyzer test, which I'm sure he would have failed. So the best thing is he at home, so we don't have to see, and he may not put himself in danger trying to get to work, or probably put somebody else in danger. Because I am confident in saying I wouldn't be surprised if Ralph Mirage is an alcoholic. When Ralph Mirage speaks, he really talking about himself and the way he insults people is how he feels about himself. And that's what people do. People who have issues with themselves and don't know how to deal with it, they project how they feel about themselves onto others. So when he calls people stupid, is that's how he feels. He feels irrelevant. Because from the man used to do know your country tours and all those plays in the Prima Bowl to where he is now. And he used to be a minister, he was relevant, Minister of Foreign Affairs and all that. Where he finds himself now, he feels empty. I remember when I told him that and he showed that he's empty and full of hate. He went crazy. Because normally he don't respond to me when I call. But when I told him that day, he went really nuts. So I know I hit a nerve. And that's what he is. He's empty and hateful. He don't have much joy in his life. So the only thing he can do is spout hate because that's how he feels, like his space he is. So when I listen to him speak, I feel empathy for him because he's really irrelevant. And he don't even understand how people really look at him anymore. And I think that he's still living in the glory days in his head. And alcohol ain't doing him justice. Again, I could stand and tell Mr. Maraj that they face. And I'm sure he can't do nothing about it because I'm sure I might smell alcohol in his breath too. Anyway, let me move on from that, yes? I am, as a public officer and somebody in labor, I am very concerned about the fact that Jaiwanti Ramdas has thrown her staff under the bus. I'll tell you why. If they are saying, Dominic?
Yeah, Jen, we hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you, Jenny. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, everything went silent. If we are hearing that her senior staff, because she alone don't do up no report, she's not an island by herself. She has a staff, they have a deputy auditor general, and there are other persons under them. They are the ones who work on it on GIF, and she's the final stamp of authority. If the rest of her staff have all agreed that is an accounting error emanating from the central bank that created an error. Look at the words they use there: error, discrepancy, understatement. Nothing there suggests thief or corruption. It just simply means unintentional. That could be corrected. And if it was corrected by her staff, it was corrected by the staff in the Ministry of Finance because there's a budget analyst division. It's not common, but there's a whole budget analyst division. And they are the ones treated with budgets and stuff like that. If they are all agreeing, that is an error from the central bank. And Jaiwanti is the only one refusing to accept that. What she's saying is she's calling into question the professionalism and the competence of those senior officers who are not appointed by the constitution like she, but are public officers, either on contract or came through service commission. So she has shown the whole senior public officers who treat with budgets and those things under the bus by saying all of them lying. They have joined with co-members and they have facilitated him in thieving $2.6 billion. That is what it is actually saying if people didn't know it.
Yes.
As a personal labor, that is exactly what it is saying. So the reason why she may not be able to walk back that is because what she'll be saying is she lie on all of them. So she has to keep this momentum going at the same time hurting her staff. I'm quite sure trust is lost because she's the one who would have sent when she got that report of the 2.6 billion, she sent it for her staff to verify. That includes her deputy auditor general and the other senior officers in the auditor general office. She sent it for them right in her department to verify. They verified it and they sent it back to her. She accepted the verification of the 2.6 billion. And she would have signed off on it, I'm sure, because to accept it means you have to sign off on it. Yet she still went and put into the parliament her original audit report that doesn't have the $2.6 billion. So that's why I said she threw a whole department under the bus. And I'm sure trust is broken. And everybody watching everybody now. And for that, me personally think Jaiwanti Ramdas' appointment should be revoked by the president because she has brought her whole department into disrepute. She has self-dereliction of duty, because that is not what the Constitution says. Her job is to get all the information, verify the information, and put a report in. She has not done that, because I say again, her staff verified that it was an error from the central bank and that there was a $2.6 billion revenue. They verified it and they sent it back to her, and she asked them to verify it, and they did that. They did their job, and she did not do hers. So Jaiwanti Ramlas can't fool me, and people could spin it how they want. In labor, that's how I'm looking at it. And lastly, it is unfortunate that I have put Dr. Rowley's face as the person the SRC is saying his salary should increase, as is him alone. I want people to understand there are hundreds of public officers who are not in Parliament, who the SRC is under, they are under the SRC purview. Several senior public officers from the Ombudsman, Custom and Excise, from police, from fire, senior public officers, PHA officers. I could go on and on. There's about 900 and something of them who depends on the SRC for increases in salary by the recommendation, because all of them haven't got an increase in salary since about 2013. So it's not just the parliamentarians in Parliament. They are public officers who depend on an increase in salary from the SRC given a recommendation, because SRC comes like their union. It is not done in a public way like us, where we go before the union, go before the CPO. It's totally different. And you cannot tell me, yes, people are saying the public officers don't perform and all that. Yes, there's some degree of that. But these senior public officers, if they're not performing, the whole system will fall down. So it means they're performing their duties. Why must they not be paid for the jobs they do? Because if we were in those positions, doing and have the kind of responsibilities that they have, I'm not talking about parliamentarians, I'm talking about public officers now, who depend on the SRE. If we were in their position, have all that type of responsibility to deal with a public service that is very challenging, and you're telling me I can't get an increase in salary, that my salary as permanent secretary, which is $37,000, and the kind of work I'm doing, I'm in charge of a ministry that has hundreds of workers. I'm in charge of accounts that are millions of dollars. I, as a senior officer, a PS in a ministry, I could use $1 million to treat a different issues. That's the amount I'm allowed to. And there's other money passing through. And my money is only $37,000 to deal with all them set of people. And now we haven't got an increase in 2013. And the SRE has recommended an increase. And all people study Prime Minister go get money. What about me? So how am I supposed to perform? Are you saying that I must be contented because all they don't like the fact the Prime Minister's salary will go up, the opposition leader's salary will go up, politician money will go up. All they don't want them to go up, and as a consequence of that, I must stay on that salary right too. How fair is that, people? If your daughter is a permanent secretary or a senior public officer who is under the purview of the SRCs, or your son, would you sit down today and say, no, they shouldn't get no increase right now because people have to tighten the belt? What would you be saying? After you spend $1,000 to educate your child, or they spend $1,000 to educate themselves, what are you going to be saying is not, but why you can't get the money? If you work for the money, and you study hard, so I don't want to pay, and then the conversation we having. So what you think them 900 and something public officers who have wives, who have children, who have husbands, what do you think they're saying today? Mommy said they're not increasing the money, so okay, I go and study. Daddy, they're not getting money, so I won't be able to get the car. We won't be able to buy the house and move out of the small place. Mommy, we can't renovate the house. Mommy, so we have money for medicine. You remember we sister sick? You remember daddy in hospital? Those are the conversations these people have, and they have ordinary life, you know. It's just they have high positions. I'm saying it is unfair that people put Dr. Rowley as the face of an increase, whereas all those other public officers, one a politician who will also be affected. And again, no matter what money they get, Kamala Prasad will still be getting more money than the Prime Minister because she's the highest paid politician that have in this country. And what does she do for it? And finally, to the unions. All they have a set of retirees. If I one of them, he facing criminal charges in America. He leading march. But then again, the Cindy labor movement, 1 out of 3 women has been abused. Apparently, abusing women allegedly or not is okay in the union. And these men who have been accused of that, it's okay to come to talk to people so people don't have jail children who could be worried about them being around men like them. Just like how Annie said, was worried about Dr. Ralph Balgobin, who was sexual harassment allegation made against him. He come out and march and talk about he had daughters. Balgobin teaching in Art of Jack, and how his daughter go feel in front of a man who has been accused of sexual harassment. But he has been accused of criminal sexual assault on a woman. In the report, it say he take out his penis, how he grabbed the woman's vagina and push her breast. But he today leading march with a woman a part of the march. So them women ain't supposed to feel a kind of how with you there. And let's continue to talk about the 4%. If all the union leaders cause it to be 4%, because only then going for the CPO 14, 15, 16, only do nothing. 17, 18, 19, only do nothing. The Act State, the Industrial Labour and Civil Service Act State, the Minister of Finance by the CPO could initiate the start of negotiations. But why only then take out the industrial related offense against the CPO by the Minister of Finance for failure to meet and treat us only? Why only go for judicial review of the laws in the civil service act or the Industrial Relation Act that says by law it could be either the CPO by the Minister of Finance or the union could negotiate the start of the negotiations initiated. Why only then do something? Only sit down for 6 years and what blame the government? None of you could have come with data to show the government can't pay more than 4%. So pass me all the bullshit, try to tell people, oh, the government looking for increase in salary, but they give only 4%. If all they had data to show they could have paid more than 4%, we would have get more than 4%. Or they had nothing. And I understand this new executive in DFW that they are going to accept the 4% and move on. So let me hear what they could say. And imagine PSA telling we, wait until, hold on the bell for next year. Wait until UNC coming in power in 2025. And we go get 10%. And a worker asks, so if the UNC come into power, what we go do? You know what that dirty man say? Well, we're going to sign and take the 4%. So what does that tell you? And finally, Rondell Fields, you're too disingenuous, you're nasty, just like all them that have bullies on them. The minister told you in advance you will not be able to come to your match. The government would have sponsored your project. And all the staff from the ministry came out and was there to support you. And you still come and carry on the minister that she didn't come. She had to say that she feels bullied. And she said, you're the man, once you can't get away, want to run to the media. You're dirty and nasty, Rondell Fields. You have become a bully. The same people that talk about who are bullied in the court and you have become a bully too. And you like bullying? Eh? The ministry was there to support you in the march. The government supported and sponsored your work. But you come out and you're still talking. The minister tell you in advance, she won't be able to come. You come out and want to drag the woman, but you rock so now all the organizations can't reach nowhere, and all of us have to blame people because all the behavior is a bullying. About this morning, government, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Jen. Let me get this here. Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning, brother.
Morning, sir. I am good.
I want to all the followers of Pastor Tobago. Now, we had children from Sister Jenny's institute. For filing in Parliament, you want that CEO, you want CEO salary was Two among them, the gratuity is to receive in the duration of the country. Prime Minister getting that for his book, right? And the fish was on Cuba, so trying to ask it was paid in US dollars. And the minister said no, Marvin Gonzalez. And then he sent the course, so that's because of the scarcity of foreign exchange through fish. You understand? Same way when the government was up to the of Carl, and what's the salary? Salary is way above that, but that salary is being paid in the US equivalent. Why? Because that is what the man asks for the government to do. Similarly, the new EU city, the one we placed Miss Agard, Western, and there is supposed to also include security for himself and his family, right? And this is the question you come in Parliament to raise mischief. And you see, people who not know as they rightly said somebody. These are the things I watch every part of the proceedings from the people's lead, the question that the schools come and ask. But by the question, they expose themselves about this honest and this disingenuous days. Right? And although that in studio you read from Fort Khan, that is from the chief as well. But he's correct. A bunch of hypocrites. That is what they are. But so like I have to explain one thing more about when I made a point about the SRC and its put on so on that chat group. With some vehement anti-PNM tools. Just well, and what about the money? When I talk about Dario Hawaii, 7 million to 20 government and so on. Yes, how much Ruan get it I said that question was actually answered that in Parliament in this same session. He said he was part of a team that had released Ghana. And when the time came up for the setting of the contract for the rappers to be the lease had expired and went back to the government so that they did not do that spend. Then you believe that? I said, don't believe me, just go back and pull up a view. Put the ones and start to the question asked him, because that was a question that they put in and answered it. He jumped on. All right, what about the Luther Manzan? He will line up there. I said, if he will line up there, he selected the government, so what? He has a right to do that. Right? If he's in a position to allow Congress to go forward in the country and he has landed authority to the government, he shouldn't do it. And be yourself. You know, but I want to say, I loved your intervention yesterday afternoon, the afternoon drive. But I'm saying, the only reason why ourselves didn't move about Claudia is because Average is not in the street. But I admire his to take that level of it. I wasn't taking it, I know he wasn't taking it either. You know what I'm saying? A female caller call and say something, and I will also enjoy her in that. I unfortunately will not be a caller to the afternoon drive on a Monday. I will only comment with Darian from Tuesday to Thursday. Yesterday, that was the line for me. The Rubicon was crossed by behavior and so on. I have had enough. I feel I don't want to be complicit in denigrating of another black man like myself, and also content on the station. And it's time that the owners of the station, Tony Lee and Daily Knock, take a hand in it. Something has to be done. Ramaraj is content to spew his vile by the express column. He writes, I think it should just remain there. He is antediluvian, a dinosaur, and he should no longer be on the airwaves of the station. In fact, he might find a home for the Indian formatted stations. He needs to be there. Right? Because the insulting callers and calling people, paying them sycophants and paying them drones and so on, It's above the pale for me. I can't take it. But these and like I said, but these people like ourselves who spread the information is not enough. The government has to go, like I was listening to one of the scribes on the way that the Biden administration conducted the last 9 months. And he said, what Biden should have done to purchase the work that he and Kamala Harris done and consistent to hear over the line in the last election is that he should have done the Franklin Roosevelt initiative and had fireside chat. Half our interventions, or these are our interventions every quarter, every month to the American people to show what they would have done and how it would have benefited them. To go through the lies spread by X and other MAGA Republican and so on. And I just want to say that this is the assignment that we have got to accept, and we will do it. But the government and ministers of no have to go out there and sell the program beginning from early as now, or whenever the general election is called. Because TikTok posts and TikTok posts with the 5-second videos are ruling the day. Even though we come with facts and browbeat them, many people are still believing the lies that are spread by these 5-second, 2-minute videos. And the only way to stop it is by a tidal wave of truth and facts. Thank you, my brother. Have a good day. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. See, hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, my darling. How are you?
Morning, I am good.
Oh, Lord. Basically about the people in yellow, it's hypocrisy. Tango wrote from on his win, okay? He's a convicted felon, okay? Tom there for you, but Jindal, right, didn't want the mayor. That makes sense to you at all, Dominic? Isn't sexual abuse worse than what he did? If you have equated, when you abuse a woman or man, you interfere with the most holy place, which is the innocent. So you call fraud, right? Trump commit fraud too. He had sex with a prostitute, which is a crime. You pay for it, right? Prostitution, fraud, sexual abuse. Some have 3, you don't have 1. But the same, you're halted over the coals of fire with hooks in him. Don't want him in, but you congratulate Trump. That is something. I mean, my coffee is drink yet. I'm a depend on my coffee because you beat up a man over something, right? Years ago, Trump is convicted. Kamala. Trump, go boy. Yeah, you're Trump's ringleader, cheerleader. Kamala. What I want to do, let me hear this. Explain to me. You saw this thing a while back, which was prayed for Dominic a couple of weeks ago by a young man. Right? He's a false prophet. Right? The same young man who prayed for Kamala, the false prophet, he was kicked out for fraud in a church. So see the lady who likes to run like a forefoot? Yeah. Come on, darling. You are a spiritual grasshopper. Who is your God, Kamala? If God be God, serve him. You are Baptist, Hindu, Christian, Muslim, and I will confused. Lord God, I pray on this life. God, have your way with us. God, have your way in this land, Lord Jesus. Kingdom and be done your will. Dominic, are you up late tonight?
F?
Are you up late tonight?
I maybe you could call me.
Very important.
Yeah, all right.
call you?
I should be home by 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
See this number, save it.
Okay.
My name is Sharon.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Have a good day, honey.
All right. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Dominic,
Oh, Lord. Leave it there.
what's going on?
All is well.
Look at boy.
Uh-huh.
Just good morning. Hey, Dominic,
Uh-huh.
I was calling my boy Beno Sunday to talk to him,
Mm-hmm.
but like he only wanted to talk to Brian.
Mm-hmm.
But tell him I ain't vexed.
Okay, I'll tell him.
You will talk again. Hey, Dominic,
Yes, sir.
you heard what Shamfa said in a meeting in Tobago recently?
Tell me.
She said Tobagonians want, but just not from the PNM.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic, but just not from the PNM.
Mm-hmm.
And she's so right. I'm telling all you, Dr. Rowley is dragging on this PNM, you know. All you want to follow him down that rabbit hole. All you go ahead and ball and not trust me what I'm telling all you.
Leave it there. Who you want to lead the PNM?
Huh?
Who would you like to lead the PNM?
Penny?
Okay. All right.
Penny
told you she wants that position.
No, not yet. Not time in.
So if she doesn't want it, if she doesn't want it, but if she doesn't want it, who should get it?
I go find somebody for you.
All right.
But I don't want nobody else but Penny.
All right.
Because I tell you, Dominic, I ain't tell all you what Stuart Young do all you know. I ain't tell you that yet, you know. But don't want all your head. It come in.
All right.
I will leave it there for now.
Please do. Eric.
Good morning, to you, Dominic, listeners, callers. You see, when you have nothing to contribute, you will expect these kind of people to come and try to, I don't know if it's the, and I don't even go on that road. Anyway, I must monitor you, the listeners, callers, facts and stubborn things. Now, Dominic, you want to raise a point with the SRC, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you see, we have to remind the citizens of this country, right, back in 2013, that the same SRC wasn't, that they claim that it's bad now, because it's Dr. Rowley is the mastermind behind that, so it's bad now, but it wasn't bad back then when the old bat was the Prime Minister then. You understand? But you see, we have a tendency in this country that everything happens, blame the Prime Minister, blame Dr. Rowley, blame Rowley. According to somebody said, I think it's Rowley. You know, it's at that time, what's Paris, and then studies. So this has been the trend that has been going on. Not now, but you see, what about Dr. Rowley? Yes, you see, Dominic, at the end of the day, they cannot come up with any solutions, right, to deem that this government is corrupt, have any malfeasance or any sort of scandal. They cannot point out to any single problem in this administration for the last 9 years. Hence the reason why they have an issue. Hence the reason why they have an issue that at the end of the day, right, that they want to create problems within the party. Right now, I would have listened to a live last night, right, with Devon Welch, and I would have listened, he would have read something, and I was kind of a bit taken back because, as always see, it's not what you're doing, it's how you do it. And this Lavantil Bacchanal, they want to push that in the UNC face to say, yes, it has problems in the party. No, it don't. Right? If a few people want to cause problem in the party, they better band it together
and let me fight the common cause, because if today or tomorrow election is called and PNM put us in problems, we will be in serious problems, right? And I don't want no return of the UNC as the government in this country, because you see all what taking place now, they are going to dismantle every single project and initiative that this government did to enhance the young people and the development of the economy and the country. So people, we have to be vigilant, we have to be mindful. Or it could cost Dr. Rowley, or it could cost the PNM, or it could say, I like Dr. Rowley, I like. But at the end of the day, we may not like Dr. Rowley, we may not like his upbringing, his stance. But at the end of the day, would you sacrifice your country and your development for your children's future for gratification that you want for your personal gain? We have to sit down and study that. But my take on this, according to Jenny, the assignment is 2025. Protect your future, safeguard your country, and vote for the right thinking set of individuals. Dominic, good program.
Thank you, sir. Right, and we have time for one more quick the rain and blows on you on Facebook and in the comments there. Oh Lord, have mercy. Where is it? I see someone by the name of Calvin Thompson says the worst PNM government and PNM in the history of TNT. You care to elaborate on that a little bit, Calvin? These broad statements that you all just come and drop without supporting evidence. Tell us, why is this the worst PNM now? Because I mean, we don't necessarily, well, not necessarily, we don't agree with you, but perhaps you could elaborate a little bit. Share with us now why you would say such a thing. All right. So I think the Tobago autonomy bill is supposed to be coming up if it's not being debated in Parliament. I need to touch on that, but not today. I see Dinesh Rambali again. Article in the Sunday Express, a hard no on the Tobago bills. Understand? Folks, understand something. While we're focusing on Trinidad and the UNC and so on, there are two seats that are up for grabs in Tobago. As I told you all, I went to Tobago last week. That's why we had no live on Thursday, because I was en route to Tobago. So I was there for 2 days. Sunday, I was unavailable because I did indicate Sunday was tentative, because TUCO had a 2-day workshop for their Calypso judges. They did their training early this year, and what a training it was, right? To ensure that next year for Calypso Monarch, people are going to see the judges' teeth and the judges know what they're doing and whatnot and stuff. So as I told the facilitator, it's unfortunate that the wider public is not privy to what we would have been exposed to for the last 2 days to understand what is involved in judging and so on. But I was in Tobago for 2 days, and I had the opportunity to speak to some Tobagonians about how they feel, what was the thinking with respect to, their vote for the PDP and the support for the TPP. And what I'm getting from them is that this narrative or this belief that Tobago is a ward of Trinidad and Trinidad feel that Tobago is supposed to be lesser than appears to be growing, right? There is that sentiment. In fact, somebody told me, the guy mentioned, because I met with I had to meet with a couple of persons who are part of an organization, the Tobago chapter of an organization of which I am the vice president. And I was talking to the guy, and he was telling me, we feel you have a lot of associations that carry the name such and such of Trinidad and Tobago, the Trinidad and Tobago such and such. But the Tobago aspect of it is treated as a second thought, that the name of the country is Trinidad and Tobago, but when you look at the representation on the boards and the wider executives and so on, that Tobago is underrepresented and they feel slighted, right? And the UNC is seeking to capitalize on that by pretending that they are supporting this Tobago autonomy bill. And anything that Farley advocates, they are going to support, right? And if it is the view or the belief is that the UNC is on their side and that the UNC is advocating for Tobago autonomy along the lines of what Farley is putting out there. And if you were to go and ask the average Tobagonian, so do you know what Farley is requesting in the Tobago autonomy bill? They have no idea. But a lot of them who support the TPP will go with whatever Farley says blindly, even though they have no idea, no clue. They just put in their faith and trust in Farley and believe, based on what they've heard and Farley's postulating and stuff, that he has their best interests at heart, so they're not asking no questions. And while we focus on Trinidad, again, not enough. We overlook Tobago to some extent, and that understand there's 2 seats that the PNM needs to win. And yes, Shamfa is doing her thing in Tobago, but again, she needs the support. As somebody told me, when the same guy I was talking to, when the issue was raised, because my colleague who was also with me from Trinidad, and she was saying, well, it's a good thing that the appointment of Ansel Dennis, so you have another Tobagonian in the Senate. And the gentleman didn't see it that way, He says, yes, they put Ansel Dennis there, and then he bring up something about some domestic issue with Ansel Dennis, and by putting Ansel Dennis there is really tokenism, but you put your own people, and why you couldn't find somebody more neutral to put, and all of that. And these are the conversations that are being had in Tobago. And the gentleman who mentioned that, because it's 2 gentlemen I was speaking, the other one is heavily involved in a lot of things in Tobago. He sits on the board of several entities in Tobago, so he's influential. People look to him as an elder, and they listen to the things that he says. And this is how what he's saying to us is sentiment that is existing on the ground in Tobago. So we cannot overlook that. And while a lot of the things that we focus on, we remind people about what happened between 2010 to 2015, and while that is good, and we talk to people about what they can expect, at the end of the day, Tobagonians believe, well, some of them believe that the autonomy bill, if they get what they want and what they're asking for, could somehow isolate them or insulate them if the UNC comes back into power in 2025, that what happens in Trinidad is not going to affect them in Tobago, because they have the autonomy and they could do their own thing and do what they want and operate as if they are totally separate island. So to hell with Trinidad. So if the UNC is in power in Trinidad, in Tobago, the TPP is in charge and they're doing what they want and running the island as they want, and yeah, they are not impacted. This is the narrative that is taking place in Tobago, and not enough. And so it's difficult enough for us to do what we're doing here in Trinidad, and then how do we address what is taking place in Tobago as well? So when we think it's not, we understand the assignment, but it seems the assignment continues to grow on a daily basis, and I don't know. So I can tell you, based on that 2 days that I spent in Tobago, we have a lot of work to do in Tobago. We have plenty of work to do in Tobago. And I don't know how they plan to do it, but, in fact, I keep telling you all about this page called the TPP Connect or something, so this Facebook page. And there's somebody who goes by the name Tobago Rose, and she always attacking me or whatever it is, and she said, so yesterday we had a little exchange, and she's telling me, when last you talked to Jack Warner, I welcome Tobago and he bust your files in Tobago. I said, bust my files? I have no files to bust. I have no cocoa in the sun and I have no skeletons in the closet. So I don't know why it is he went over there and probably on his radio station over there and talking about me and how I come up in conversation. I have no idea. No idea how I come up in conversation that he would go on there, but that's the impression that I got. I didn't hear it. Right? But he continues, clearly he's still tooting because of the interview that I did with Darian, where I explained what happened that with respect to my departure from his radio station, right? And he's misrepresented and keep talking about I was ILP, and then he have an issue with me having run for the position of social media officer at the PNM. I was an ILP and then I gone back. I will let Mr. Iwa George know. I am a card-holding member of the PNM since 2007. I already explained the issue with the ILP, right? That I was disgruntled in 2010, but my efforts to try and help the party to get back into power in 2015, trying the simple thing of trying to join a party group and speaking to several influential people in the party, and nobody could guide me as to how I could have joined a party group, right? But I was content to simply sit back and support the party by giving them a vote in any other little way that I could have. And I explained the situation with my mother and so on, suggesting that I should contest the district that I live in. And I told her I can't do so under the PNM because there's a process after being a party group. Somebody had to recommend you, and then you have to go for screening and so on. I'm not in a party group. I've been trying to join and all of that. But this thing he keeps making about that I just go on and trying to run. Iwa doesn't understand my history in the PNM. So he needs to keep quiet on that stupidness and stop talking that rubbish. Because I heard him when he spoke about that foolishness in his interview that he did with Juliet. And this thing about how he was listening to me on the radio, and how it is I could just go back in the people and then party, go in the people party and run fast. You don't know. That was on the recommendation of people in the PNM as well, and senior people. So I want you to keep quiet and stop trying to dirty up my name wherever it is he doing it. But anyway, I'm gonna take this last call. Hello, good morning.
Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Dominic, you see what happened? You a threat to a lot of them. So they will always have negative things to say, right? Because look at your program, man. You left Iowa and look at your program. You are pulling numbers greater than some of his program. So he is a threat.
Yes.
And you will always find these things, right? But we thank you for the education that you are giving us to make the right decision in voting to protect our children's future, right? And Dominic, let me tell you, I have to go up to Tobago, right? But I think people in Tobago waiting because you see that situation in Tobago, which part they want to demolish those renders of them.
Yes.
And they didn't have no discussion. Tobagonians are waiting patiently to do because they understand that the party of them is coming under UNC disguise. Right, Dominic? So in time to come, this discussion will become in the future. We know what's happening. I'm going up there and talk to some brothers of them, but I feel in this sense down here that they're ready for them because they come with a plan for Storby, right? And change up on them and want to get the man on the ground off of Storby, and they're waiting for them.
Yes.
Right, Dominic?
Yes.
But we're looking out. Okay, brother, but keep on doing the good work and keep on bringing the information because it's very vital to us. Right? And we know that the UNC will be coming with a lot of political gimmick because it's election time and people have to be aware. Just as a full name in 2010 and 2010, that pension for everybody at 60 years old. And when she come in, she says, I'm a sprint. When she don't get the vote and the power now. So this is the game of politics, people. I will give you this, but which is why she getting all that money to pay all of that and she don't want to collect property tax. She taking out of the account in the pick out to give all that she want to do. Okay, people, be wise. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so let me see Roxanne, what Roxanne saying there to be going spit because I'm not seeing them going on their own. But Roxanne, you would be surprised the things they're talking about. They want extension of the maritime borders for the two of the gas fields. I think it's Ruby and Calypso or something. We just say this in Tobago waters, and they want more, and they could develop it on their own. And this is the nonsense that some of them talking about in Tobago, you know, and people putting that in their head. And Fali is also requesting that extension of maritime borders, and they want to increase the minimum Tobago take on from the budget to 8% and all of these, and it is resonating with people in Tobago. It is resonating, unfortunately. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to request certain things, but within reason. And those of you who have not heard the interview that the Minister of Finance did with Rhoda Barrett on News Source, just go on Facebook, type up News Source, NEWSAUCE, and listen to that interview and hear the Minister explain the challenges that he is facing, you know, from a revenue perspective and how he's trying to manage the thing. But you see, the UNC will promise. That is why they don't ever talk about anything that's happening in Tobago. They will not criticize Fali. You could have what scandal erupt. They're quiet. They have nothing to say because they're hoping that at some point they could come to the negotiation table with Fali to be able to work together to see if they could get those 2 seats. And the UNC will promise them the sun, the moon, and the stars, and anything else that they want. Whatever you want, we will give you. To the point, what you just send us, what you want with respect to autonomy, item by item, everything you want, put us back in power and we will give it to you. And he will go out there and he will sell that in Tobago. And there are those persons there who will gladly lap it up. You even have people who support the PNM who buying into this separatist agenda, right? So you see how in America you had them talking, Trump talking about America first, and America First, and some people bought into that. It's the same thing they're pushing in Tobago. I see they're actually quoting now Tobago First in their Facebook posts. Tobago First and Tobago First. Tobago for Tobagonians. And that will resonate with people. Those who are neither fish nor fowl and who are not normally inclined to vote, guess what? That will ring in their ears, and that's something good. Yeah, boy. I could support that. So while I normally sit out elections, I feel I could go and stain my finger for that, because that's something that's first time I hear somebody talk like that for Tobago. So the PNM needs to know that they have work to do in Tobago, right? They don't care that the Prime Minister is a Tobagonian. That is neither here nor there with them, right? Dr. Rowley gets no extra points for that. In fact, some of them see him as, well, I'm going to leave that there. Last call. Eric.
Yes, Dominic. Now, I stay long. I heard you saying that the 919 Tobago trying to slanderize him. I want to tell I was just something this morning, and I don't care if you listen to me, I don't listen to this, right? You see, when you are heavily paid by a party to air the misinformation and the propaganda, because you did it in 2010, right? You did it in 2015 with Gladiator. You did it in 2010 with Precious, with Ghost, and with Chesters and Festus, right? So anytime election time come around, they just pay, allegedly they just pay Iowa George a brown envelope. So he just want to portray all the UNC misinformation and propaganda. So that is nothing new. That's what he did you last year, right? Because you was coming every Tuesday morning and debunk all the foolishness and the lies that the UNC was putting out on the Monday Night Forum. And Munilal is alleged that would have called Iowa and told Iowa, if he paying you on your radio, we can't have people like Dominic and them so trying to put the correct sense in the people. So that is why he got rid of you on 919. And I always say, it have 31 other radio stations in Trinidad and Tobago. We don't have to listen to 919, right? It's only because I don't tune into Sharon and Google. Other than that, I don't listen to 919 because it can't profit me no way, no how. And I'm grateful that you have this platform so you can educate the people and let them know the facts and not the propaganda. You understand? Good program, that's what I'm listening.
Thank you, sir. Charles Corbin says Republicans equals UNC. Indeed. Altea says I was too hungry for her. Oh, Lord. Leno L says most UNC MPs have criminal cases against them in court. Is this what we want for our future generations? Well, you know what they'll tell you? The president of the United States incoming has 34 felonies and he's the president. So who is we? Yeah, what Trump could do we? But anyway. Marlon Wanzaglaw says they can say what they want, PNM all the way, great is the PNM. All right, let me just take Jenny here quick and then I'm running out because I had a bus out. Jen. Hello?
Yeah, Dominic.
Yeah, Jen.
It is unfortunate that what's his name? Oh gosh. That one was the president of PSN.
Watson Duke?
Watson Duke, yes. It's unfortunate that Watson Duke could have painted a picture of people in Tobago as being illiterate. They can't read, they don't read anything, and they just listen to what people have to say. Right? He would have painted a picture about his burgesses in Roxborough. We didn't, because we know a lot of persons come from Tobago are highly intelligent, very intellectual, and would held high office in Trinidad and Tobago. So we rubbish that. However, it may have something to some. So when you hear them speaking now and the things they say now, you have to just back and wonder, what is he to say, little boy? Is it that it has some truth in it? Right? Why I'm saying that is this. If they read the history of Tobago, Tobago was a profitable island by itself, you know. When Tobago was making money, Trinidad wasn't developed as yet, you know. When we became developing was 1790 something there, when there was this developed population and Spain wanted to get in on the sugar business. And they put all these things to the French to come to Trinidad to develop here with sugarcane and all that. We started late, but we started to excel. Tobago, because of the fact sugar and Muscavo and cocoa and all those things were dwindling, their profits started to dwindle also. Based on that, Tobago was on the verge of bankruptcy. People were selling their land and homes and getting out of it. Because the island wasn't making money again. And they would have tried to link them with Grenada and one time somewhere, I think around Sydney and all that, but those things didn't work. And because Trinidad, the larger island, started to be more profitable, the British would have put Tobago. Unfortunately, the word ward make it seem as though it's some kind of, some master child and some kind of we looking down at your poor church mouse and all that. But then people in Tobago need to understand the dynamics of Tobago, the population of Tobago in comparison with Trinidad. And I think they never get over in their mind this small island mentality. And I think some of them is because of their insecurity and because of their lack of self-esteem. When they come to the table, they approach that same aura. So once you're confident around them and you're from Trinidad, they tell themselves that you're talking down to them and watching down to them. And I think it's unfortunate. It has to do with how they view themselves. It's not how we view them. It's how they view themselves. And that is a big problem that some of them have in Tobago. So anything you talk to them once you come from Trinidad, they always take it as if you're talking down to them. I don't think we could help with that. That has to be dealt with education. And people in Tobago, the PNM Tobago, need to educate Tobagonians about the history of Tobago, why they became a ward of Trinidad in the first place, but also let them know they were profitable, they were making money, they were handling the stories. However, because of bad investment and extra, that's why it reached where it is. And if Trinidad wasn't a ward of Trinidad, Tobago would have been non-existent, because there would be nothing there. So they would have gotten a lifeline, but somehow they have never gotten over this feeling as if them as the poor church might. We really can't help with that. That's a psychological thing. They need counseling for that, because we don't look at them like that. But they come to the table with that attitude and then feel everybody talking down to them. So it's not only a political issue, it is a psychological one. So the PNM has to know how to use psychology to build the self-esteem and the feeling of pride in Tobagonians. We can't do that. Like something that needs a lot more help, and that comes from psychology, not so much political. Thank you, Dominic.
Thank you, Jen.
That's my opinion.
Thank you. Well said. And rest assured, the UNC is going to use the political to exploit that psychological. And tell them, well, the political could fix the psychological. So what you all think you need, or what you believe that you need, we will give it to you. The PNM don't want to give us 2 seats. Yeah, y'all could join with us, wherever. All right. Folks, thank you for joining me this morning. It's always a pleasure. To the 100 and at one time 90 something of you guys who are on Facebook and the 400 and some on YouTube. All right, so as they say, share the live, enjoy your day, make it a productive one, and God's willing. As I said, I have another early day on Thursday, but I will be on Thursday morning, 6:30, because I said I have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm sure between now and Tuesday, you're gonna have a lot more that's gonna happen for us to discuss. Right? So, yeah, we'll see what happens. So, make it a productive day. We will chat again on Thursday. Oh, yes, let me say belated birthday greetings to Daniel Knights, who celebrated his birthday, I think, last week, Thursday, or of course, because I was not on. Was it Sunday? Can't remember, 1 of 32. So, Daniel, I hope if you're listening, if you're still on, that it was an enjoyable one, and to anybody else who would have celebrated birthdays. I think Eric, yes. Eric also celebrated a birthday as well, 2 days ago, I think. Yeah, so, Eric, we trust that it was an enjoyable one. Well, we know you. Yeah, we know you. You would have made it enjoyable, right? So, Caroline Augustus, bye-bye, Nadia Lewis Dixon, Claire Carrington, Ruth Trude, Jocelyn King, Sonia Edwards, Helen Batiste, all of you guys. Enjoy your day. Jennifer Neaton, you're most welcome.